My name is Alexis Hobbaker, and I am going to discuss the recent emergence of Lyme disease and the factors that affect its transmission. Infection of bacteria of the genus Borrelia is the main cause of Lyme borreliasis, which is commonly known as Lyme disease. Borrelia bacteria is a tick-borne pathogen, which means that it requires a vector species to spread and infect other hosts, which mostly includes vertebrates such as mammals. Borrelia is transmitted by ticks in the genus Ixodes, which usually acquire the bacteria after taking blood meals from a previously infected host. The bacteria can then infect other vertebrate hosts when the infected tick takes blood meals from uninfected hosts. Lyme disease resulting from Borrelia infection can result in a variety of symptoms that can vary in severity. In humans, common symptoms of Lyme disease include skin lesions at the site of infection where the tick attached, as shown in the provided images. Fatigue, cognitive dysfunction, and widespread pain throughout the body also can occur. However, more serious symptoms such as prolonged paresthesia, neurological manifestations such as cranial nerve palsy, and Lyme arthritis can occur as well. The most common method for the transmission of Borrelia bacteria is known as systemic transmission. It is when uninfected Ixodes ticks obtain Lyme bacteria after feeding from a host that is already infected with the bacteria. This type of transmission also occurs when ticks that are infected with Borrelia bacteria spread the bacteria to uninfected hosts when they take blood meals from them. An example of systemic transmission is shown in the provided image above from an experiment conducted in 2020 on the vector competence of an Ixodes tick to transmit Borrelia bacteria. Transovarial transmission is another method of Lyme bacteria transmission, though it is rare and only occurs in certain species of Borrelia bacteria. It is when Lyme bacteria is transmitted from an infected mother Ixodes tick to her offspring. In addition, Ixodes ticks can also acquire Borrelia bacteria from other ticks in a process known as co-feeding transmission. Co-feeding occurs when Lyme pathogens are transmitted between infected to uninfected vector ticks that are feeding in close proximity at similar times on the same host. Recently, Lyme disease has increased in incidence in multiple areas around the world. For example, Eastern Ontario in Canada has experienced recent tick and Lyme disease expansion, with the number of reported Lyme infections in humans more than doubling in the city of Ottawa from 74 in 2016 to 186 in 2017. It seems like Lyme bacteria are being spread northward along with the vectors and hosts they infect. In addition, Lyme disease infections have also been reported to be emerging in new locations where Borrelia bacteria were not previously established. Lyme has even emerged in places that normally have not been considered high-risk areas for Lyme infection because they did not seem to be suitable habitats for Ixodes ticks. Such locations include urban areas and on the treeless islands in the Western Isles of Scotland, which have experienced an increased frequency of Lyme disease outbreaks despite Borrelia bacteria and the ticks that spread it being usually associated with forested habitats. This recent increase in Lyme disease prevalence is believed to be caused by certain driving factors. One of the suspected driving factors for the spread of Lyme disease is climate change. The reason why climate change could be a driving factor for Lyme is because as the global temperatures increase, the opportunity for species to establish themselves in new areas as invasive species also increases. Some of those species may include reservoir hosts for Lyme bacteria, and the bacteria would also emerge in new locations along with their hosts. For example, an experiment conducted in 2020 that aimed to obtain information about the ecological factors that affect the diversity and abundance of Ixodes ticks in urban areas of Romania provided evidence that supported climate change as a driving factor for the increased prevalence of Lyme bacteria. The experimental results showed a positive correlation between the average abundance of ticks and the rise of average daily temperatures, as shown in the figure. An increase in tick abundance could contribute to an increased spread of Lyme disease, since they are more likely to become infected with Lyme and transmit it to another host. Host species composition may also be another important driving factor for the spread of Borrelia bacteria, because not all vertebrates are suitable reservoir hosts for the bacteria. For example, an experiment conducted in 2021 aimed to explain why Lyme disease is common in the northeastern United States, yet rare in the southeastern United States, despite both locations containing Ixodes ticks that serve as vectors that spread Lyme bacteria. It was observed that ticks were mostly collected from mammal hosts, such as mice and shrews, in the northern areas, while more ticks were collected from lizards in the southern areas. Since lizards are ineffective reservoir hosts for Lyme spirochetes, unlike rodents, there is strong evidence that supports the possibility that the composition of primary host species that the ticks feed on influences the risk of Lyme disease in the areas where such species are most common. Lyme borreliosis is a tick-borne disease that is also considered to be an emerging infectious disease due to its increased prevalence in both new areas and locations where it has previously been established. More research is needed to determine which driving factors of Lyme contribute the most to its increased spread and emergence into new locations. In addition, future preventative measures can be developed to reduce the prevalence of Lyme disease to protect those that are at risk of infection in a way that is both safe and effective. This can be achieved by continuing to study the spread of Lyme disease. Overall, Lyme disease is quickly becoming a more serious threat due to its increased incidence rate and recent emergence in new locations, and more research is needed to better understand it.